Talking about emotional intelligence, and we're talking about the difference between book smart and people smart, and I'll explain in a moment what I mean by that. There's really two parts we'll be doing in our time together. In the first half, we're going to lay a nice foundation for what is emotional intelligence and why you should know about it. And then in our second part, we'll be talking about how can you actually improve your emotional intelligence and become more effective not only at work, but also at home, in your friendships, in your relationships, just in general, in how people respond to you. So that's where we're headed. So I'm excited to be here. Let's start by part one by saying this. What is emotional intelligence? And I want to start with this question. When you say that someone has good people skills, or you say so-and-so, they're so good with people, what is it that you mean when you say that? Who'd be willing to share? What does it mean? They're so... But I remember I worked in a very stressful work environment, and I would come home at the end of the day just wanting to vent, just wanting to get it off my chest. And I would start saying, you wouldn't believe the day that I had. And he would interrupt and say, here's what you should do. No, don't do that. Most people just want to vent, and they don't want you to come up with a quick, short-term solution. How do you become a better listener? A couple of things. Probably the best quote I ever heard on effective listening came from Stephen Covey, who passed away several months ago. Stephen Covey said, seek first to what? Understand. Meaning when you go into a situation where you're listening to someone, your first priority should be just to say, I just want to understand what they're saying, what they're feeling. He said lots of times we go into listening situations with agendas. Oh, well, when Matt comes into my office, I want to convince him of X, Y, Z. Or we have judgments. When Matt comes into my office, it's going to be the same old BS that it always is. And he says neither one of those is real listening. Real listening says, first of all, I just want to understand where this person is coming from. Second of all, create a physical environment by your body language and everything that says I'm listening. Everybody give me body language right now that says, Brenda, I am so listening to you. I just think you're like the best speaker that ever landed in the planet. And I'm so listening to what you have to say. Very good. Now, everybody give me, it's always a little creepy when people do that. It's like... Right, give me body language that says, I am so bored and so checked out and so sick of your message that I can hardly stay. Everybody give me, sir, you did not move one way or the other. What is this about? You did not move one iota. Meaning by your body language and everything, you lean in and let them know you're listening. Encourage them to talk. Ask questions because you want to know more. Use paraphrasing. What is paraphrasing? When someone talks and you paraphrase, what does that mean? Repeating it back, especially with you have an upset customer or client. Let them vent, let them get it out, and then say, let me see if I have this straight. Repeat it back to them. That way people know that you have it. Statements of empathy, saying, oh my gosh, I can tell that was frustrating for you. People like to know that you're grading their emotion. And the last one, I think this is the most often overlooked, is to realize that many times people come at us with one emotion, particularly in the case of anger, but there's other things going on. When I started my career, I was 22 years old, and I taught high school English in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And occasionally I would have a student come stand in my office door between classes, usually a male, 17, 18 years old. I taught juniors and seniors. And this male would start an intelligent conversation with me like this, between classes. This school sucks. Can't wait to get out of here. The teachers suck. The students suck. Everything sucks. And I'd say, sit down, I have a few minutes, sit down and talk. What's going on? Usually what they were saying was, I'm flunking a certain class. I'm the only kid in the class who doesn't understand it. I feel like an idiot in front of my friends. I don't know how I'm going to pass it here, much less go on to pass college. So they were coming at me with one emotion, anger, the school sucks. What were the real emotions going on just beneath the surface they didn't feel as comfortable sharing? Fear. Insecurity. Shame, embarrassment. But how many 18-year-old boys do you know who are going to say, I'm feeling a little ashamed in front of my peers today? That's not going to happen. So they come at you with anger. That's socially acceptable. And we think, well, we are so much better than that as full-grown adults. I've heard lots of stories, for instance, of nursing home administrators. Imagine you're the top dog at the nursing home. You're the head cheese. And my mom's in your nursing home. And I come into your office this morning just enraged with anger, screaming at you that your CNA washed my mother's hair last night after we just had it done in the salon yesterday morning. And I am just enraged with anger at you. But what are the other emotions I'm feeling just beneath the surface from putting mom in the nursing home? Guilt, loss, sadness, grief, mourning that she's not the person she used to be, fear. But I don't feel as comfortable saying that. So I come with anger. What's the point is when someone comes at you in your personal and professional life with anger, our tendency lots of times is to be baited by that anger and go, oh yeah? Sometimes you're smarter just saying, sit down, let's talk. Let's try to get at what's really going on here. Household expense. Raise your hand if in the last month you've sworn at your computer. It's unanimous. You drove through a fast food restaurant, got home, and realized they did not give you all the food that you ordered in the drive-thru. Something went through the washing machine that clearly should not have. And our last three, raise your hand if in the last month someone annoyed you at work. Someone annoyed you at home. Someone is annoying you at your table right now. It's of everyday reality. Now, the reality is we all have our share of annoyances in life, and the question is, how are you going to respond to that? Part of emotional intelligence is realizing people want to be around happy people. People are drawn to be around happy people. And I'm not talking about fake people who are like, I'm having the best day ever, where you just want to slap them upside the head. Not that kind of person. But I'm talking about people want to work with and be in long-term relationships with people who have basically a positive, upbeat, pretty stable attitude. Not that they don't have a bad day here or there, but they just can remain happy. Researchers did a study, citation is up there, where they took people at the start of the day, like in this room, and they assessed everybody's level of happiness. So they had some idea of who was happiest and unhappiest in the room. Then they paired them up for random conversations. They said, okay, you two women, you visit for 5 minutes, you two talk, you two talk. Okay, every switch, find a new partner and talk to them for 5 minutes. After each little conversation, they would interview the participants one-on-one. And they'd say, so, did you like so-and-so? Would you like to have another conversation with so-and-so? Did you like her as a person? They did this each time. At the end of the day, the researchers found there was a very strong correlation between the happiest people in the room being the people who liked it most and wanted to have another conversation with. If they did get paired up with one of the least happy people, they'd say, well, that was nice. Would you like to talk to her again? Not so much. Another way of looking at this is ask yourself, most days do I show up for work and life with an attitude of mojo or nojo? This is from Marshall Goldsmith, management expert. The left-hand column is mojo. This is when you show up for work and you're like, I am here, I'm ready to roll. I might be a little tired from the weekend, but I'm going to put in an honesty's work for an honesty's pay. I'm going to serve our customers with excellence, but it would be easy to get along with. I'm grateful to have this job for an amazing company that provides us amazing opportunities and a beautiful building. Also, I'm grateful to be here. I'm wide awake. I'm ready to go. I'm going to make the best of this day. We all know people who show up for work in life with nojo. Nojo is someone who walks in the door at work and they're like, ugh. I'm here. Just give me the minimum to get by. And they complain all day long. And then when they finish their workday, they go home to their family, and what do? They complain to them about how bad their life is. One of the things that Marshall Goldsmith said in his book that struck me, he said, the problem is when any of us show up for work and life with an attitude of nojo, essentially you're saying to the people around you, you know what, I'd rather be anywhere in the world than with you people here right now. You make my life miserable. And ask yourself, wow, is that the attitude that I want to spend? Now, how do you get to living with mojo more often? Let me put up a quick piece of advice. Recognize when you're grumpy. Raise your hand if you know when you're getting grumpy. Raise your hand if you know when people around you are getting grumpy. Some people, it's like they're starting to get grumpy, and they go, wow, I feel a case of the grumpies coming on. You all are going to pay, right? I encourage you instead, emotionally intelligent people, rather than saying, I'm feeling grumpy, you're all going to pay, I'm going to make your life miserable. Instead say, what is it that I need that I'm not getting right now? What is it do I need a really good night's sleep tonight? Do I need a break away from my children for a little bit? I've got a little too many diapers to change. I could use a little break in the evening. What do I need? We were on vacation at Lake of the Ozarks of Missouri about 4 years ago. We stayed on a condo, which we did for several years in a row, right on the lake, beautiful, for a week. My husband and at that time 3 teenage sons. A lot of testosterone in the condo. And I remember vividly waking up the 4th day of vacation, turning to my beloved husband and saying, I could take somebody's head off this morning. And he said, what's going on? And I said, for 3 days we have done the guy things. We've done the fishing, we've done the go-karts, we've done the jet skis, we've done the video game stores. I said, there are outlet malls 1 mile that way I have not stepped my foot into. And he dangled the car keys, wise man he is, and said, go have some fun, we'll see you later today. Now, 20 years ago, I'm not kidding, I would have said, that is so selfish. How dare you insist in the middle of family vacation to get time to yourself? And yet now, at my older, wiser age of 50, I really honestly believe I have some responsibility as a wife, a mom, a professional woman, a business owner, that when I'm getting grumpy, rather than saying, you're all going to pay, say, what is it? What do I need? What do I need? And then